when all night long a chap remains on sentry go to chase monotony. He exercises of his brain, that is, assuming that he's got any. Though never nurtured in the lap of luxury, yet I admonish you, I am an intellectual chap, and think of things that would astonish you. I often think it's comical, fa-la-la, fa-la-la, how nature always does contrive, fa-la-la-la, that every boy and every gal who's born into the world alive is either a little liberal or else a little conservative. Fa-la-la, fa-la-la, is either a little liberal or else a little conservative. Fa-la-la. When in that house MPs divide if they've a brain and cerebellum too. They've got to keep that brain outside and vote just as their leaders tell them to. But then the prospect of a lot of dull MPs in close proximity, all thinking for themselves, is what no man can face with equanimity. Then let's rejoice with loud fa-la, fa-la-la, fa-la-la, how nature always does contrive, fa-la-la-la, that every boy and every gal who's born into the world alive is either a little liberal or else a little conservative. Fa-la-la, fa-la-la, is either a little liberal or else a little conservative. Fa-la-la.
Strephon, the member of Parliament, carries every bill he chooses to his measures all assent, showing that fairies have their uses. Whigs and Tories dim their glories, giving an ear to all his stories. As the Commons are more than the blues, Strephon makes them shaking their shoes, shaking their shoes, shaking their shoes, shaking their shoes, shaking their shoes. Strephon makes them shaking their shoes and their shoes.
Strephon's a member of Parliament, running amok of all abuses, his unqualified assent. Somehow nobody now refuses. Whigs and Tories dim their glories, giving an ear to all his stories, carrying every bill they wish. Here's a pretty kettle of fish, kettle of fish, kettle of fish, kettle of fish, kettle of fish. Here's a pretty kettle of fish. Strephon's a member of Parliament, carries every bill he chooses to his measures all assent, carrying every bill he may wish, carrying every bill he may wish. Here's a pretty kettle of fish.
annoyed, I should say so, why this ridiculous protege of yours is playing the deuce with everything. Tonight is the second reading of his bill to throw the peerage open to competitive examination.
And he'll carry it too.
Carry it, of course he will. He's a parliamentary U-Haul. Carries everything.
Yes, and if you please, that's our fault.
The deuce it is.
Yes, we influence the members and compel them to vote just as he wishes them to.
It's our system. It shortens the debate.
Well, but think of what it all means. I don't so much mind for myself, but with a house of peers with no grandfathers worth mentioning, the country must go to the dogs.
Well, I suppose it must.
No, I don't want to say a word against brains. I have a great respect for brains. I often wish that I had some myself. But with a house of peers composed entirely of people of intellect, what is to become of the House of Commons?
I never thought of that.
This comes of women interfering in politics. It so happens that if there is an institution in Great Britain which is not susceptible of any improvement at all, it is the House of Peers.
Oh, when Britain really ruled the waves in good Queen Bess's time, the House of Peers made no pretense to intellectual eminence or scholarship sublime. Yet Britain won her proudest ways in good Queen Bess's glorious days. Yet Britain won her proudest ways in good Queen Bess's glorious days.
Yes, Britain won her proudest ways in good Queen Bess's glorious days.
Oh, when Wellington thrashed a Bonaparte, every child had told, the House of Peers throughout the war did nothing in particular, and did it very well. Yet Britain set the world ablaze in good King George's glorious days. Yet Britain set the world ablaze in good King George's glorious days.
Yes, Britain set the world ablaze in good King George's glorious days.
And while the House of Peers withholds its legislative hand, and the noble statesmen do not itch to interfere with matters which they do not understand, as bright will shine Great Britain's rays as in King George's glorious days, as bright will shine Great Britain's rays as in King George's glorious days.
As bright will shine Great Britain's rays as in King George's glorious days.
Charming persons, are they not?
Distinctly, for self-contained dignity combined with airy condescension, give me a British representative peer.
And pray stop this protege of yours before it's too late. Think of the mischief you're doing.
But we can't stop him now. Oh, aren't they lovely? Oh, why don't you go and defy us, you great geese? Oh. Invade to us you plead. Don't go. Your prayers we do not heed. Don't go. It's true we sigh, but don't suppose a tearful eye forgiveness shows. Oh no. We're very cross indeed. Yes, very cross. Don't go. It's true we sigh, but don't suppose a tearful eye forgiveness shows. Oh no. We're very cross indeed. Yes, very cross. Don't go. Your disrespectful sneers. Don't go. Call forth indignant tears. Don't go. You break our laws. You are our foe. We cry because we hate you so. You know. You very wicked peers. You wicked peers. Don't go. You break our laws. You are our foe. We cry because we hate you so. You know. You very wicked peers. You wicked peers. Don't go.
Our disrespectful sneers, ha ha, call forth indignant tears, ha ha. If that's the case, my dears,
Don't go.
we'll go.
Shame upon you! Is this your fidelity to the laws you're bound to obey? Know ye not that it is death to marry a mortal?
Yes, but it's not death to wish to marry a mortal.
If it were, you'd have to execute us all. Oh, this is weakness. Subdue it.
We know it's weakness, but the weakness is so strong.
We're not all as tough as you are.
Tough! Do you suppose that I am insensible to the effect of manly beauty? Why, look at that man. A perfect picture. Who are you, sir?
Private Willis, B Company, 1st Grenadier Guards.
Well, you're a very fine fellow, sir.
I am generally admired.
I can quite understand it. Now, here is a person whose physical attributes are simply godlike. That man has the most extraordinary effect upon me. If I were to fall prey to a natural inclination, I should fall down and worship that man. But I mortify this inclination. I wrestle with it, and it lies beneath my feet. That is how I treat my regard for that man. Oh, foolish faith, think you because his bravery my bosom pours, I disobey our fairy laws, because I fly in realms above, in tendency to fall in love, resemble I the amorous dove, resemble I the amorous dove. Oh, amorous dove, type of Ovidius
Captain Shaw. Oh, Captain Shaw, type of true love kept under. Could thy brigade with cold cascade quench my great love, I wonder?
Oh, Captain Shaw, time of true love kept under.
Could my brigade with cold cascade quench my great love, I
I can't think why I'm not in better spirits. Why, I'm engaged to two noblemen at once. That ought to be enough to make any girl happy. But I'm miserable. Now, don't suppose it's because I care for Strephon, for I hate him. No girl could care for a man who goes about with a mother considerably younger than himself.
Phyllis, my darling. Phyllis, my own.
Don't! How dare you? Oh, but perhaps you're the two noblemen I'm engaged to?
I am one of them.
And I am the other.
Well then, my darling, my own. Well, have you settled which it's to be?
Not altogether. It's a difficult position. It would hardly be delicate to toss up.
Oh, no.
On the whole, we'd rather leave it to you.
Well, how can it possibly concern me? You are both earls, you're both rich, and you are both plain.
Oh, so we are. At least I am.
So am I.
Oh, no.
Yes, I am indeed very plain.
Well. Perhaps you are.
I really don't think that there's anything to choose between you. If one of you would forego his title and distribute his estates among his Irish tenantry, why then I should see reason for accepting the other.
Tolloller, are you prepared to make this sacrifice?
No.
Not even to oblige a lady?
No, not even to oblige a lady.
Then the only question is, which of us shall give way to the other? Perhaps, on the whole, she would be happier with me. I don't know, I may be wrong.
I don't think you are. I rather believe she would. But the awkward part of this is that if you rob me of the girl of my heart, we must fight.
What?
And one of us must die. It's a family tradition I have sworn to respect. It's a painful position, for I have a strong regard for you, George.
Oh, my dear Thomas.
You are very dear to me, George. We were boys together. At least I was. If I were to survive you, my existence would be hopelessly embittered.
But then, my dear Thomas, you must not do it. Oh, I say it again and again. If it will have that effect on you, you must not do it. No. If one of us is to destroy the other, let it be me.
No.
Oh, yes, by our boyish friendship, I implore you.
Well, be it so. But no, I cannot consent to an act which would crush you with unavailing remorse.
But it would not do so. I mean, I should be very sad at first, who would not be? But it would wear off. I like you very much, but not, perhaps, as much as you like me.
Ah, George, you're a noble fellow, but that telltale tear betrays you. No, George, you are very fond of me, and I cannot consent to give you a week's uneasiness on my account.
But, dear Thomas, it would not last a week. Remember, you lead the House of Lords. On your demise, I shall take your place. Oh, Thomas, it would not last a day.
Now, I do hope you're not going to fight about me, because it really isn't worthwhile.
Well, I don't believe it is. Nor do I. The sacred ties of friendship are paramount.
Though perhaps I may incur your blame, the things are few I would not do in friendship's name.
And I may say I think the same, not even love should rank above true friendship's name.
Then prithee, mind the blame, forget your craze and go your ways in friendship's name, in friendship's name.
Oh, many a man in friendship's name has yielded fortune, rank, and fame, but no one yet in the world so wide has yielded up a promised bride.
Except, oh, friendship, all the same.
This sacrifice to thy dear name, accept this sacrifice to thy dear name.
Love, unrequited, robs me of my rest. Love, hopeless love, my ardent soul encumbers. Love, nightmare-like, lies heavy on me chest, and weaves itself into my midnight slumbers. When you're lying awake with a dismal headache and repose is tabooed by anxiety, I conceive you may use any language you choose to indulge in without impropriety. For your brain is on fire, the bedclothes conspire of usual slumber to plunder you. First your counterpane goes and uncovers your toes, then your sheet slips demurely from under you. The blanketing tickles, you feel like mixed pickles, so terribly sharp is the pricking. And you're hot and you're cross and you tumble and toss till there's nothing twixt you and the ticking. Then the bedclothes all creep to the ground in a heap, and you pick 'em all up in a tangle. Next your pillow resigns and politely declines to remain at its usual angle. Well, you get some repose in the form of a doze without eyeballs and head ever aching. But your slumbering teems with such horrible dreams that you very much better be waking. For you dream you are crossing the channel and tossing about in a steamer from Harwich, which is something between a large bathing machine and a very small second-class carriage. And you're giving a treat, penny ice and cold meat, to a party of friends and relations. They're a ravenous horde, and they all came on board at Sloane Square and South Kensington stations. Then bound on that journey, you find your attorney, who started that morning from Devon. He's a bit undersized, and you don't feel surprised when he tells you he's only 11. Well, you're driving like mad with a singular lad. By the by, the ship's now a four-wheeler. And you're playing around games, and he calls you bad names when you tell him that ties pay the dealer. Well, this you can't stand, so you throw up your hand, and you find it as cold as an icicle. In your shirt and your socks and like silk little clocks, crossing Salisbury Plain on a bicycle. And he and the crew are on bicycles too, which they somehow or other invested in. And he's telling the tars of the particulars of a company he's interested in. It's a scheme of devices to get at low prices or push cough mixtures to cables, which tickle the sailors by treating retailers as though they were all vegetables. You get a good spademan to plant a small tradesman, first take off his boots with a boot tree, and his legs will take root and his fingers will shoot, and they'll blossom and bud like a fruit tree. From the green grows a tree, you get grapes and green pea, cauliflower, pineapple, and cranberries. For the paste cook plant, chili brandy will grant of a puffs and 3 corners and Banbury's. The shares at a penny and ever so many are taken by Rothschild and Baring, and just as a few were allotted to you, you awake with a sudden despairing. You're a regular wreck with a crick in your neck, and no wonder you snore for a head on the floor, and your needles and limbs with your soles to your shins, your flesh is a creep where your left leg is asleep, and you grab in your toes and you'll blow your nose, some club in your lung and a feverish tongue and a lurking fit, and a general sense that you haven't been sleeping in clover. But the darkness has passed, and it's daylight at last. The night has been long, ditto, my song. And thank goodness they're both of them over.
I am much distressed to see your lordship in this condition.
Ah, my lords, it is seldom that a Lord Chancellor has reason to envy the position of another, but I am free to confess that I should rather be 2 earls engaged to Phyllis than any other half-dozen noblemen upon the face of the globe.
It's an enviable position, if you're the only one.
No doubt, most enviable. At the same time, seeing you thus, we naturally say to ourselves, this is very sad. His lordship is constitutionally as blithe as a bird. He thrills upon the bench like a thing of song and gladness. His series of judgments in F sharp minor, given andante in 6/8 time, are amongst the most remarkable effects ever produced in a court of Chancery. He is perhaps the only living instance of a judge whose decrees have received the honor of a double encore. How can we bring ourselves to do that which will deprive the Court of Chancery of one of its most attractive features?
I feel the force of your remarks, but I am here in 2 capacities, and they clash, my lords, they clash. I deeply grieve to say that in declining to entertain my last application to myself, I presumed to address myself in terms which render it impossible for me ever to apply to myself again. It was a most painful scene, my lords, most painful.
This is what it is to have 2 capacities. Let us be thankful we are persons of no capacity whatever.
Come, remember, you are a very just and kindly old gentleman, and you need have no hesitation in approaching yourself, so you do so respectfully and with a proper show of deference.
Do you really think so?
I do.
Well, I will nerve myself to another effort. And if that fails, I resign myself to my fate.
If you go in, you're sure to win. Yours will be the charming maid. It be your law, the ancient saw. Fate hath never won fair lady. Never, never, never. Fate hath never won fair lady. Every journey has an end. When at the worst affairs will mend. Guard the door when day is nigh. Hustle your host and don't say die.
shies at such a prize is not worth a matter of lady being so kind to bear in mind. Faint Heart never won fair lady. Never, 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 Faint Heart never won fair lady. While the sun shines, make your hay. Where a will is, there's a way. Fear the lion in his lair, not but the brave deserve the fair. I'll take heart and make a start, though I fear the prospect's shady. Much I've spent to gain my end. Faint Heart never won fair lady. Never, 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 Faint Heart never won fair lady. Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's love that makes the world go round. Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's love that makes the world go round. I'll take heart and make a start, though I fear the prospect shady. Much I'd spend to gain my end. Faint Heart never won fair lady. Never, 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 Faint Heart never won fair lady. Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's love that makes the world go round. Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's love that makes the world go round.
My bill has now been read a second time. His ready vote no member now refuses. In verity I wield a power sublime, and one that I can turn to mighty uses. What joy to carry in the very teeth of ministry, crossbench, and opposition some rather urgent measures quite beneath the ken of patriot and politician. Hold your flapping wings, soaring legislator. Stoop to little things, stoop to human nature. Never need to roam, members patriotic. Let's begin at home. Crime is no exotic. Bitter is your bane. Terrible your trials. Dingy, drury lane. Soapless 7 dials. Take a tipsy lout gathered from the gutter. Hustle him about, strap him to a shutter. What am I but he, washed at hours stated, fed on filigree, clothed and educated. He's a mark of scorn. I might be another if I had been born of a
a wretched thief through the city sneaking, pocket handkerchief ever seeking. What is he but I, robbed of all my chances, picking pockets by force of circumstances? I might be as bad as unlucky rather, if I'd only had friggin' for a father. Oh, I suppose one ought to enjoy oneself in Parliament when one leads both parties, as I do. But I'm miserable, poor broken-hearted fool that I am. Oh, Phyllis. Phyllis.
Yes?
Phyllis. But I suppose I should say, my lady. I have not yet been informed which title your ladyship has pleased to select.
Well, I haven't quite decided. You see, I have no mother to advise me.
No, I have.
Yes, a young mother.
Not very. A couple of centuries or so.
Oh, she wears well.
She does. She's a fairy.
I beg your pardon, or what?
Oh, I've no longer any reason to conceal the fact. She's a fairy.
A fairy? Huh. Well, that does account for a good many things. Then I suppose you're a fairy?
I'm half a fairy.
Which half?
The upper half, down to the waistcoat.
Well, dear me, there is nothing to show for it.
Don't do that.
But why didn't you tell me this before?
Because I felt you would take a dislike to me. But as it's all off, you may as well know the whole truth. I'm only half a mortal.
Well, I'd rather have half mortal I do love than half a dozen I don't.
Oh, I think not. Go to your half dozen.
Oh, it's only two. And I hate them. Please forgive me.
I don't think that I ought to. Besides, all sorts of difficulties will arise. You know, my grandmother looks quite as young as my mother, and so do all my aunts.
I quite understand. Whenever I see you kissing a very young lady, I shall know it's an elderly relative.
You will? Well then, Phyllis, I think we shall be very happy together.
We won't wait long.
No, we might change our minds. We'll get married first.
And change our minds afterwards?
That is the usual course. If we're weak enough to tarry ere we marry, you and I, of the feeling I inspire, you may tire by and by, for peers with flowing offers press their offers, that is why I am sure we should not tarry ere we marry, you and I.
If we're weak enough to tarry ere we marry, you and I, with the more attractive lady to a lady you may fly, if by chance we should be parted, broken-hearted I should die. So I think we will not tarry ere we marry, you and I.
If we're weak enough to tarry ere we marry, you and I, of the feeling I inspire, you and I, by and by, if we're weak enough to tarry ere we marry, you and I, of the feeling I inspire, you and I, by and by, so I think we will not tarry ere we marry, you and I, you and I, you and I.
She is, and thus she welcomes her daughter-in-law.
Why, she kisses just like other people.
But the Lord Chancellor.
Oh, I forgot about him. Mother, none can resist your fairy eloquence. You will go to him and plead for us?
No, impossible.
But our happiness, our very lives depend on our obtaining his consent.
Oh, madam, you cannot refuse to do this.
You know not what you ask. The Lord Chancellor is my husband.
Your husband?
My husband and your father.
Well, then our cause is plain. On his learning that Strephon is his son, all objections to our marriage will be at once removed.
Nay, he must never know. He believes me to have died childless, and dearly as I love him, I am bound, under penalty of death, not to undeceive him. But see, he comes.
Victory! Victory! Success has crowned my efforts, and I may consider myself engaged to Phyllis. At first, I wouldn't hear of it. It was out of the question. But I took heart. I pointed out to myself that I was no stranger to myself. That, in point of fact, I had been personally acquainted with myself for some years. This had its effect. I admitted that I had watched my professional advancement with considerable interest, and I handsomely added that I yielded to no one in admiration for my private and professional virtue. This was a great point gained. I then endeavored to work upon my feelings. Conceive my joy when I distinctly perceived a tear glistening in my own eye. Eventually, after a severe struggle with myself, I reluctantly, most reluctantly, consented.
My lord, a suppliant at your feet I kneel. Oh, listen to a mother's fond appeal. Hear me tonight, I come in urgent need. 'Tis for my son, young Strephon, that I plead. He loves, if in the bygone years thine eyes have ever shed tears, bitter unavailing tears for one untimely dead. If in the eventide of life sad thoughts of her arise, then let the memory of thy wife plead for my boy. He dies, if fondly laid aside in some old cabinet. Memorials of thy long-dead bride lie dearly treasured yet. Then let her hallowed bridal dress, her little dainty gloves, her withered flower, her faded tress, plead for my boy. He
It may not be, for so the fates decide. Learn thou that Phyllis is my promised bride.
My bride! No.
It shall be so. Those who would separate us, woe betide.
I doom thy lips have spoken, I plead in vain. A vow or now. For as she has said, so have we.
What? We are all fairy duchesses, marchionesses, countesses, viscountesses, and baronesses.
It's all our fault. They couldn't help themselves.
Well, it seems they have helped themselves. And pretty freely, too. You have all incurred death. But I can't slaughter the whole company. And yet, the law is clear. Every fairy must die who marries a mortal.
Allow me, as an old equity draftsman, to make a suggestion. The subtleties of the legal mind are equal to the emergency. Oh, the thing is really quite simple. Why, the insertion of a single word will do it. Let it stand that every fairy shall die who don't marry a mortal. And there you are, out of your difficulty at once.
We like your humor. Very well. Private Willis.
Ma'am?
To save my life, it is necessary that I marry at once. How would you like to be a fairy guardsman?
Well, ma'am, I don't think much of the British soldier who wouldn't inconvenience himself to save a female in distress.
Oh, you're a very brave fellow. And you're a fairy from this moment. How say you? Will you join our ranks?
Well, now that the peers are to be recruited entirely from persons of intelligence, I really don't see as much use in us staying down here. Do you, Tolloller?
None whatever.
Good. And away we go to Fairyland. As soon as we lay off and away, we'll commence our journey in. Happy are we, as you can see, everyone is now a fairy. Everyone is now a fairy. Though as a general rule we know, to sing so to every bow. Make up your mind what grief will bring, if you to bow to every string.
Though as a general rule we know, to sing so to every bow. Make up your mind what grief will bring, if you to bow to every string.
Up in the sky, ever so high, pleasures come in endless series. We will arrange, happy exchange, house of peers for house of peers, peers, house of peers for house of peers. Up in the air, sky high, free from wants in Chancery. He will be surely happy of thought, he's such a susceptible Chancellor.
Up in the air, sky high, free